Hello everyone, I'm bringing you another guide for Diablo 4 Necromancers. The build focuses on shadow damage and it also focuses on Skeleton's Army of the Dead. Build's very good, very powerful, you're going to go places with it. So if you ever need any of the information that's on this build guide or video, you can find it in the description below or in the comments below. It'll have the order for everything. So without further ado, I'm just going to work my way through the build. I'm going to begin with the skill tree. First, you're going to take Reap. Then you're going to take Acolyte's Reap. Then you're going to take Hewed Flesh for more corpses on the ground. There's no core ability. Then you're going to take Blood Mist for survivability. And you're going to take Ghastly Blood Mist, going to activate Corpse Explosion and leave corpses behind for you. Then you're going to take Corpse Explosion and you're going to make it into a shadow damage ability dot. So you're going to take Blighted Corpse Explosion. Then you're going to take Fueled by Death. And to finish off the tier, you're going to take Skeletal Warrior Mastery to give your skeleton warriors more life. Moving on down, we're going to take Decrepify, and then we're going to finish Decrepify off with Abhorrent Decrepify. This is going to reduce the cooldown of all your abilities, and this is going to play a major part in the build. Then you're going to take Amplify Damage, which is going to increase the damage when you use a curse skill. And then you're going to finish this tier off with Skeleton Mage Mastery, which is going to increase the life of your skeleton mages. Then on the next tier, we're going to take Corpse Tendrils, and then we're going to take Blighted Corpse Tendrils. And this is important because the blood orbs in this build are going to reduce the cooldown for Army of the Dead. Then we're going to work on the shadow section. We're going to take Reaper's Pursuit, Gloom, and finish it off with Terror. Moving on down, we're going to look at the ultimate skills. You're going to take Army of the Dead, and then you're going to finish it off with Supreme Army of the Dead. This is important for damage and creating corpses on the ground for your Corpse Explosion and your Shadow Dot damage. Then you're going to take Standalone for damage reduction, which also stacks with minions. Then we're going to take Bonded in Essence and finish it off with Death's Defense, which is going to increase the survivability of your skeletons or minions. To finish the tree off, we're going to select Shadowblight. That goes over the skill tree. I'm going to jump in and do the Book of the Dead very quickly. For Skeletal Warriors, we are going to take Reapers, and we're going to take the choice that gives us a 50% chance to form a corpse, which is really important for damage in this build. For Skeletal Mages, we're going to take Cold, and we're going to take the chance for Cold Mages to make enemies vulnerable for 4 seconds. For Golems, we're going to sacrifice them, and we're going to select maximum life is increased by 10%. That goes over the Book of the Dead. I'm going to hop back into the abilities and go over the Paragon boards. Of course, I'll try to give a brief explanation or an idea of why I took it. I'm going to begin on the beginning Paragon board, and you're going to take Prime for damage. And then you're going to take the glyph socket. I picked Control because it's the highest damage glyph in the game. And it's based off of using Grout Control, Decrepify, and Corpse Tendrils. And it stacks very nicely with the requirements in the beginning board. As you can see, I have 70 of 40, a huge increase. Then I picked up Preservation for armor. And to finish the board off, I took Resilience. I typically take this for more maximum life to keep my character alive. Moving up on the Paragon boards, my next choice for a board was Wither. This is the Shadow Dot and Shadow Damage board. My first step I picked up Malediction for more shadow damage, and I picked a glyph that increases shadow dot damage. This is a great slot for this one because there's a lot of willpower for requirements to increase the damage of this one here. Then it's up to you which one you want to take. You could definitely take Lingering Shadows for more shadow dot damage and shadow damage, or you could take Gnawing Darkness for more shadow damage and elite damage. Both of them are very close to the middle, so you could definitely take whichever one you feel is better. Then I picked up Dragon Shadows because it was on the way to the legendary node of the board. Then I worked my way up and I took Withered. This is a mouthful, but pretty much what it does is it increases your damage a lot on your shadow dot damage based off of willpower. To finish the board off, I picked up Restoration, and I took this mostly for the maximum life. Then I went to the left and I picked up the board Scent of Death. I wanted to make my character a little bit more survivable. So I ran and I picked up the Shadow Dot Damage glyph. This is going to reduce the damage of enemies. This is a great slot for the requirements and has a lot of willpower to increase the strength of this glyph. Then I picked up Preservation for armor, and I swung to the middle and I picked up Scent of Death, the legendary node, and to finish the tree off, I picked up Deathmark, and I picked Deathmark because it has shadow damage attached to it with the willpower behind it. So I figured I might as well just take it to increase the damage of my shadow damage through the darkness glyph. Then I went up to the next board and I picked up the board Scent Flesh Eater. I apologize. And I took Stifle because it's on the way to Flesh Eater, but you really don't need to take it. Really not that important, but you could definitely take it. It's not, the requirements aren't met, unfortunately for me, but it doesn't really matter. And then I took Flesh Eater, and to finish the board off, I picked up Targeted, and I took the Glyph Socket. I picked up the Glyph Socket that increases your minions and your damage, and it makes your damage non-physical damage. I get a lot of sigils or terror maps that have physical damage, so I picked this up. And it's a glyph that increases the damage of your minions a great deal too, so I picked this one up. Then back to the middle where I picked up Wither, I went to the right. This board doesn't really matter at all. I just picked it because I wanted to, but the general idea was to get more damage through my curse skills. So I picked up the glyph Amplify, which increases your damage through curse skills. That goes over the Paragon boards. I'm going to jump into the gear really quick and explain my choices and the aspects and everything. To begin, the jewelry or the amulet and 2 rings have skulls for more armor. The helmet, chest, and leggings, or the armor of the gear, should have maximum life, the best that you could get through gems. And then on the weapon, I picked damage over time gem. In the shield, I picked more maximum life. So to begin, I'm going to go over the helmet. The aspect is increased armor for 4 seconds when you deal any form of damage. The higher the armor that you have, the more survivable you are, so this is a no-brainer. The stats are intelligence, all stats, maximum life, and crowd control duration, which I find to be really cool. The chest has a aspect that makes you immune to crowd control effects for 4 seconds. It has a cooldown on it. Mine is 24 seconds, but it could be 40 to 20 seconds. The lower the better. And that's what Unstoppable does. It makes you immune to crowd control effects for 4 seconds. And the stats are all stats, maximum life, total armor percentage. I love armor percentage. damage reduction from distant enemies, which is really good as well. The gloves are unique and increases the damage of your corpse explosion between 30 to 40% times. I use these gloves for the lucky hit chance. You don't need the health from below to actually make this build work. You just want the lucky hit chance on your gloves. Anything else is really good. That goes over the gloves. The leggings have an aspect doesn't really make any sense. I apologize. But the aspect that I would use is the damage reduction for minions. 20, I believe, is the best for it. The stats are dodge chance against close enemies, really good. I enjoy that one. Total armor percentage, I have that on almost every piece of gear I have. Willpower is going to help the shadow dot damage and damage reduction, which is really, really good. That goes over the leggings. I'm going to go over the boots. Movement speed, I love movement speed, just great. I can't stand running slow. Then it has all stats. And then willpower, which is going to help your dot damage. Essence cost reduction, really not important for this build. You could definitely get something more important for this. So you could definitely find a different choice. The aspect is blood mist triggers corpse explosion, which is your main source of damage practically in the build with your skeletals. And this is a really good aspect to have. The weapon has the Army of Dead. When activated, your minions gain attack speed and take 90% reduced damage. Really cool. I use Army of the Dead a lot in this build. You're trying to increase the speed of Army of the Dead for your minions to do a lot of damage, a lot of burst damage. So this is why I have Army of the Dead. I don't have the best roll, unfortunately, but the damage is really good when I use it. The stats are intelligence, damage affected by shadow damage over time enemies, damage over time, and critical strike damage. The critical strike damage is really not important. Like all stats would probably be better, or another that effect would be really cool, or a vulnerability effect, or a CC'd effect would work as well. That goes over the weapon. The amulet has you deal 180% increased damage for 6 seconds after the Shadowblight key. Passive damages enemies 10 times. This is huge. This is the best aspect that you're going to want for this build, so make sure you get it. The amulet has total armor percentage. I love armor. Slow duration reduction. I'm not going to yell at that or get mad about it, but it's definitely something you could get better at. The +3 rings to ties a blood passive, completely useless. Try to get something different that's going to help, maybe like shadow dot damage or dot damage, or even like tear or gloom plus will help a lot with this build. Then the cooldown reduction is pretty cool, and I'm not going to yell at that. I really enjoy that because you want to get your Army of Dead, Blood Mist, Corpse Tendrils off cooldown, so this is not something that's really that bad. That goes over the amulet. The ring has blood orbs reduce your ultimate cooldown by 1 second. So this is why we're using the Corpse Tendrils that spit out blood orbs and decrease the cooldown of Army of the Dead for more burst damage. The stats are maximum life. The lucky hit chance, I almost forgot, the lucky hit chance, that's why we're using a wand in this build as well. You want to use a wand for this build as well because of the lucky hit chance. It gives you 14% lucky hit chance, which is going to decrease the amount of time that your Army of the Dead and all your cooldowns are going to be down for. So I totally forgot about that. I apologize about that. So back to the ring. I went over the lucky hit chance. Then you have critical strike chance, which is not important. You probably want shadow damage or shadow dot damage. Damage to distance enemies, not bad. Not going to yell at that, but you could probably find something better. Then Ring of the Medallion is a ring that's going to increase the damage of your minions. So the aspect is while you have 7 or more minions, you gain a lucky hit chance, up to 10% chance to empower all your enemies, causing the next attack from each to explode for 16,000 physical damage. So whenever your minions do this, they're doing a lot of damage. When you have a ton of lucky hit chance. So this is going to be going off a lot because you're trying to spam Army of the Dead as much as possible. So this item has lucky hit chance, minion attack speed, maximum minion life, which is really high, and it has thorns. Thorns are useless, but this is a unique item. I can't change it. That goes over the ring. Then the shield has, when you hit a crowd control enemy, there's up to a 30 to 50% chance for that crowd control effect to spread to another affected enemy. This is really good for making packs of mobs really tight in order for you to like AoE them down with Corpse Explosion and use Army of the Dead's explosion ability and cause more damage. So it has damage reduction while fortified. Really garbage for this build, unfortunately. You could definitely get something better. Maybe like maximum life or more armor percentage, or even shadow dot damage, I believe. Then it has willpower, which is really good for the dot damage. Damage reduction percentage really good, and all stats is really good. So that goes over everything. That goes over the character, Book of the Dead, skill tree, and the Paragon boards. I hope you enjoyed the video. After this, there's going to be a video of the actual build being played, or gameplay footage of the build. So I hope you have a nice day, and thank you again for watching. And
against all the evil that hell can conjure, all the wickedness that mankind can produce, we will send unto them only you. Rip and tear until it is done.